Karate is karate, is karate, it's all karate, everything's karate. What is karate or karate? So, hi guys, I wanted to make a couple more videos, and this is a topic that I'm very passionate about. So, if you don't remember who I am, my name is Joseph Claycomb, Claycomb Karate Academy in Fontana, California, and I've been training roughly since I was a child. So I'm 51 years old, and it's been a lifelong endeavor. I'm a 7th dan in karate. My sensei's Japanese from Hokkaido. His sensei was Nakayama sensei. And of course, Nakayama sensei was Gichin Funakoshi, the person who created the word karate to mean empty hand from China hand. And I wanted to kind of touch on the topic of why does everybody call everything karate? So this is one thing that bugs the you-know-what out of me, and you don't see it with any other martial art. So for example, you don't see somebody calling Kung Fu karate. You don't see somebody calling Jiu-Jitsu karate. You don't see somebody calling Kendo karate. You don't see somebody calling Aikido karate or Judo karate. But you do see people saying Kempo karate, American Kempo karate, or Taekwondo is karate, or Tang Sudo is another form of karate, or Muk Du Kwan or Hapkido is karate. Rex Kwon Do, whatever you want to call it, karate comes from a specific place. Most people just look at what they see on YouTube or what is most commonly known to people in the sport arenas. So for example, they look at karate and they go, oh, that's karate, the Olympic stuff. And that could not be further from the truth. So one of the biggest problems I have is people confusing, one, sport for art. Two different things. Number one has rules. One is based on the art, self-defense, no rules, practicality, and it applies to anybody of any shape and size. Sport has rules, restrictions, time limits, referees, mats, gloves, all that kind of stuff, which you see points, and whether it's by the round or by the point, by the technique, as in point karate. And a lot of people confuse that with actual karate. So I kind of want to set the record straight. And this might hurt, a few people's feelings because they don't realize that what they've been studying this whole time really isn't karate. They even say it the wrong way, karate instead of karate, right? So what makes karate karate? First of all, it must originate from Okinawa. The original principles and philosophies of karate must originate from Okinawa to even be called karate. Let me expand on that. And it doesn't have any restrictions of style necessarily, because there's a lot of different styles, okay? But the origins of karate come from Okinawa, and there's 3 main provinces that influence karate the most, okay? And before it was called karate, it was called te or tode. And so people must understand that there's a history, there's a lineage, and there is a origin of where things come from. So karate comes from Okinawa. It was modernized in Japan for sport and to spread throughout the world by Gichin Funakoshi, who took it to the mainland and introduced it at the Kodokan, which was by invitation by Jigoro Kano, and he allowed Funakoshi, who was his friend, to introduce Okinawan karate to Japan, and they simplified it and stylized it to make it appealing to the Japanese communities and to the newer communities. But the origin of the style or the system called karate comes from Okinawa. Naha, Shuri, and Tomari are the 3 main villages. Now out of those, or provinces, so out of those areas came styles like Goju-ryu, Shorin-ryu, Shito-ryu, Owachi-ryu, and many, many, many others. Shotokan, right? So many styles came from these three main regions in Okinawa. Now, if you're calling yourself a karate practitioner because you did some sort of open style in America, in that came about in the 90s, right before the internet was popular, and some dude says, I went to the Orient, chose the 7 best martial arts, and then created a style called blah blah blah, known as American karate, well, that's a little questionable, and it may break your bubble that American styles of karate are not karate. They are basically sports that people have, or systems that people have put together stuff that they like and what they think is the most appropriate, and then they name it something, and then they call it American this or that, you know? So calling it karate and in a generalizing manner, if you ask any Japanese person or somebody from Okinawa, what do they think of that? They're going to be scratching their heads because they won't understand the concept. How can you call it anything else than what it is? So there's nothing wrong with calling it American martial arts or Brazilian martial arts or anything martial arts, but don't call it karate. For example, people confuse the sport versus the art and then lump the sport as the art. That's another video I want to talk about as well. But just to keep things simple, everything starts from its root. So if you cannot trace the person that you were taught by that has their sensei, where that started from, and it was named at that point, that specific thing, you can't call it karate if your lineage is somewhere over here. If your lineage goes to the source, you can call it karate, right? But if you can't trace your lineage, if you can't trace your background, and you don't have a history, a recollection, a record, you don't know anybody from the past, you don't have senseis from the past that you know, you can even claim that you come from that side or that side, then you can't use the word karate and then just generalize it and then expect that to be a true statement. I've been training for about 44 years. Since I was 7 years old, I've been in the martial arts. And when I started karate, I didn't have a question as to this was karate or this wasn't karate. When I saw Taekwondo practitioners, it was very different. I knew that was Taekwondo. I knew that was Kung Fu. I knew that was Judo or some other martial art. When I was training and learning karate, I knew it was karate. I didn't have to question it because it wasn't confusing, right? Nowadays, people say, oh, I do karate. What style? I don't know. Where did your sensei train? I don't know. Where's his sensei from? I don't know. So that's a problem. Now, if you go to a jiu-jitsu event, right? And you put a jiu-jitsu gi on and a jiu-jitsu black belt, and they find out you're a karate guy, you think they're going to be happy with that? You have to legitimately be a jiu-jitsu person. It's the same thing in karate. You have to be legitimately a karate person to wear a karate black belt and be given a black belt from somebody legitimate who traces his information and his experience and his knowledge and his style back to Okinawa. That is the bottom line. And it may not be something that everybody wants to hear, but that's the truth. And honesty is the best policy. Us.